I'm sure I don't need to remind you that the solar generator category has been expanding tremendously over the last couple years into larger devices so that you have a lot more battery capacity with the main unit that you buy, but also with modularity as well, allowing you to add additional power banks or battery cells to those power banks and use them as a seamless system. Now, with a lot of these new units though, you're typically given a much larger system to start with, something that a lot of people really don't want to pay for up front, costing sometimes $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. Or you're given modular systems that have a bulky interface so that you have to plug each power cable into the battery system itself and then to that main power unit. But with the introduction of this, the Segway Cube 1000, things are changing up a little bit. Now you might know the Segway name from years past with those mobile scooters that ride around that balance themselves, but now the company is getting into the mobile power station category as well with this first device here that not only offers a great little compact unit that's incredibly durable, but also one that's completely modular as well, going from 1 kilowatt hour of battery capacity all the way to 5 kilowatt hours with a simple plug and play interface, which we're going to show off. But before we do that, let's do a quick unboxing to show you what you get in the box here. Right at the top here, we have our accessory box, your standard user guide, and then we have two power cables here. AC power cable to plug this into an outlet, but then we also have a DC power cable as well. We can actually see the modular design right here. At the bottom here, you see the split line here. The bottom section is the battery cell itself, the 1 kilowatt hour battery, and then the top section is the inverter and all of the charging ports. 3 AC outlets here. These can offer up to 2,200 watts of continuous power, but there is an override mode. Segway is calling it R drive. And this functionality allows you to go up to 4,400 watts for a limited amount of time if you do have power tools that need to be powered up. And then to the sides of those, 2 USB-C ports as well. And these have up to 100 watts of power output. So if you have a high capacity laptop that needs fast charging or a smartphone that takes fast charging as well, these will be able to support that. Now, as far as charging goes, this is actually one of the fastest charging solar generators that's on the market. The Segway Cube 1000 can use up to 1,250 watts of AC power to charge the internal battery here with this initial 1 kilowatt hour battery cell from 0 to 100% in 1.5 hours. And for DC input here with the solar panels, this can accept 4 of Segway's SP200 solar panels that are 200 watts each. So that's 800 watts, and that'll charge this in 1.6 hours. Now, to give you guys an idea of how the Segway Cube 1000 performs when under load, I'm going to be using 3 different pretty standard appliances that you might want to use in case of a power outage. We have an air fryer for cooking food. We have a space heater in case it's winter and you want to stay warm. And then behind me, I have a air conditioning window unit right there. So we're going to be plugging all of these in and actually turning them on all at once. Now, if you are in a power outage, you would probably want to space these out and just use one at a time, but that's not what we're doing today. So we have the main unit on, we're at 55% battery. We have AC output turned on as well. So we're going to kick things off by turning the air fryer up to 400 degrees. This is probably going to get a little bit loud. So that's at 400 degrees now, and it kicks off immediately. We're at 1,470 watts. It's going up a little bit more. And you can hear the fan inside of here kick in with the inverter trying to push as much power as possible. So that's settled in at 1,471 watts. We're then going to turn the air conditioning unit on. The compressor will probably take a minute or so to kick in once the fan turns on inside there, but you can already see that we're at 1,600 watts. The air conditioners these days have gotten incredibly power efficient, so it's not that uncommon to see them only consume about 100 to 150 watts for a unit like this one here. But then finally, we're going to turn this space heater on, and this essentially just uses electricity to turn into heat. So it uses quite a bit of power. So we're going to flip this on to see what we get. 2,000 watts, 2,200, and we're pretty much at that limit. 2,207, it's popped up to 2,300 for a second there. But all of these devices now are being powered by the Segway Cube 1000 with its 2,200 watt inverter. And just remember, they do have that special R drive mode, which puts this into overdrive. If you do need to power additional power tools or anything like that for a short period of time, it can go all the way up to 4,400 watts. Now with this running at this capacity, it's probably gonna deplete the internal battery pretty quickly. It says on the top here, 6 minutes of runtime, but if we turn things off, let's say we are only trying to cook some food for a little bit, we turn off the space heater and the air conditioner, this draws down to 1,480 watts or so, which increases our runtime significantly. We see it went from 8 minutes to 10 minutes, and it'll probably pop up a little bit more to 12 minutes now at 41% capacity. So if this was a full battery charge, this would be running a lot lower. And actually, this is running at 5 hours or so. This actually seems to be had gotten up to temperature, which means it doesn't use that power all the time, which means you could probably run this for an hour or so and cook an entire meal for your entire family 2 to 3 times throughout a power outage without running out of battery capacity on the Cube 1000. Now, as I mentioned before, this system is completely modular, which means you can add additional cells here if the 1 kilowatt hours of capacity isn't enough for you. You can add them 1 kilowatt hour at a time, up to 4 additional units for a total capacity of 5 kilowatt hours. And unlike a lot of other systems, this is really easy to add and really clean as well. Since everything is modular with this plug-and-play system, simply remove these screws with an Allen key. So now that we got our 4 screws out, we simply pull this up, and this is actually pretty light. The unit was turned on and now it is off because I've removed the battery cell itself. And so here you can see the connector here. No additional cables, simply stack the additional units on top of this. And it's honestly really easy to take apart and then hopefully put back together as well. And to give you a look at the bottom of this unit, it's nice that you see a modular design like this. I'm really glad Segway chose to go this route instead of the other way, because honestly, it's incredibly sleek, looking a lot better than pretty much any other solar generator with a modular design. And one other thing I do need to point out, this entire system here is IPX6 water resistant, which means if you leave it out in the rain, you're not going to have any issues. It's one of the few devices on the market in this category that offer that, which is incredibly nice. So when it comes to the pricing, the Segway Cube 1000 has a standard price of $1,000, but you typically can find a $100 to $200 discount on that. And then the battery cells go for $700 at retail price, but you can always find about a $100 discount as well. But right now for Prime Day, Segway is offering its best pricing available that they've ever had on this unit. So make sure you check out the link in the video description below just to make sure that you're getting the best deal possible. And that's going to do it. If you have any questions for me about the Segway Cube 1000 and the modular design here, let me know in the comments below and I'll try to answer them as best as I can. Thank you guys so much for watching, and of course, thanks to Segway for sponsoring this video. I'll catch you in the next one.